Hi there. This is actually part 2 of a 3-part video series. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, go over here to check out part 1. So with that being said, let's get into part 2. What's going on, everybody? This is Sean of Raw Select Music. I am back with part 2 of my recent record pickups videos. Because I ended up buying so many records in the last few weeks, I figured I should break it up into 3 different sections. I already talked about all the 7 inches that I picked up. Now I want to get into the more modern, recent records that I've picked up, because I think I have some real gems here that are definitely worth sharing. So with that little introduction out of the way, yeah, let's talk about these guys. First up, brand new shit right here. Rejoicer's Spiritual Sleaze, released on Stone's Throw Records. As you know, I was a big fan of his Energy Dreams record from 2018. So when I heard that he had a new project coming out this year, I knew that I had to pick this one up. This is fresh off of a new Jet Set order. By the way, shop Jet Set. So I haven't listened to this one yet, but the little bits and pieces that I have heard from it, I really like. I'm just gonna drop the needle somewhere on this record and see what sort of sound I get. Wish me luck. From what I can gather, it seems like he's not really changing up his sound all that much. He's still playing around with that sort of new agey hip-hop instrumental electronic music that he had on his previous album and just sort of expanding on it some more. With the little bits and pieces that I have heard from it, I do enjoy the sound he's going for him on here, and I'm really looking forward to giving this guy a more in-depth listen. So more thoughts and opinions on this record at a later date. Next up, we have my first instrumental hip-hop release of this year. Juice the Emissary released a new record called Timber, and based off of the record that he did in 2017 called Attention Kmart Choppers, I figured Juice the Emissary was going to be back with some good shit, and I knew I shouldn't pass up on this because this was pressed in limited numbers and it sold out almost immediately on Jet Set. So I'm really glad that I had the wherewithal to pick it up as soon as it had a listing. Suck that there isn't an overall theme guiding this record like his previous project had, but as far as I can tell, there's some really good instrumental hip-hop beats on here, and I don't know what else to say other than maybe, if you can, give this one a listen. So the other records that I have here were all picked up when I was down in Tokyo. As of late, I was raiding Disc Union, which has become pretty much my go-to record shop anytime that I'm down in Tokyo. Fortunately, I didn't get any footage of that trip, but maybe I'll end up doing that next time. Anyways, I stumbled on some real goodies and cleaned up on a lot of records that I was curious about. Most of these I picked up for 1,000 yen or 1,500 yen. So I was really happy to be able to pick up a lot of these guys that I've been curious about, but didn't really want to pay full price for them. And right off the top, we have a record that I have never seen, but I know the artist, Twami's Master Killer, which may or may not predate any of the stuff that he put out on Street Corner Music, but that's where I recognized him from, and I knew there was going to be some good shit on here. So I didn't have to think twice about this record to know that there's going to be some just banging beats on here. As I thought, like choppy lo-fi drums, lo-fi samples, dirty, raw, exactly the kind of shit that I really, really like, and I'm really happy that I picked this one up, even though I didn't know of its existence when I bought it. Next up, we have a Street Corner Music release. This is Denmark Vesey's Martin Lucid Dream album, which is half rap album, half album of instrumentals. I bought it mostly from the instrumentals. The production stuff that I've heard from Denmark Vesey, I really, really liked. I'm not really as big of a fan of his rapping, but I'm willing to give this project a shot. But overall, I really like some of the tracks on here. This one, Think Happy Thoughts, is a really, really good track. the variety of the instrumentals on here. Some of the tracks hit a little bit harder, some are a little bit more lazy and a little bit more hazy, but I really like the variety of the instrumentals. I'll probably get around to listening to the vocal tracks at some point, but for now, I'm really happy that I picked this up because some of the beats on here are really, really good, and this is yet another one of those street corner music releases that if you run across it, give this guy a listen because you won't be disappointed. Alright, this is a record that I've been curious about for a while and spotted it at Disc Union and figured what the hell, should pick this up. This is Owly. Yeah, Owly, released on Paxco Records in 2014. I've been eyeballing this record for a while, but just never got around to picking it up because I thought it might be just a hair too mellow. And I was totally wrong. There are some real banging tracks on here. So I'm really happy that I ended up picking this up. Sort of jazzy, sort of lo-fi. The stuff that I've heard from here, I really, really dig this record, and I think you should probably give it a listen too. Alright, last up in my more modern records, we've got a Stone's Throw three-peat, 2 records from Madlib's yesterday's new quintet project, as well as Kareem Riggins' Head Nod Suite, which I believe came out in 2017. And this was a record that I was looking to pick up for a while. I like Kareem Riggins as a beat maker. I was a little reluctant because I wasn't as big of a fan of his Alone project that he had released first on Stone's Throw, and I liked some of the tracks that I'd heard on here, but one of the big things that I try to avoid when I pick up an instrumental hip-hop project is something that I can't play out, and a lot of the tracks from the other Stone's Throw project I dug, but there wasn't really anything that I was going to be able to use in a DJ set. That is not the case with this record. There are tons of bangers on here, and even from the first time that I've listened to it, one of my favorite tracks on here is this track, Detroit Funk, because this is some of Kareem Riggins' funkiest shit to date. Not the most banging beat on here, but this does actually have some pretty hard-hitting songs on here. Overall, the little bit that I've listened to this project, I really, really dig this and definitely recommend that you pick it up if you haven't, because some really masterful tracks on here that combine some electronic elements, some live instrumentation, and some straight-up sample shit, and Kareem Riggins does all of them really, really well. Alright, lastly, we have the 2 yesterday's new quintet records. We have his first one, Angles Without Edges, a record that I've been curious about for a while and am really happy that I finally have it. I don't know why. I've been really, really curious about a lot of Madlib's more jazzy stuff and been wanting to hear it. And so when I ran across both of these records for under 2,000 yen or under 20 bucks, I knew that I had to pick them up because I probably wouldn't find another opportunity like that. And there's some original tracks on here, but this cover of Daylight is so good. Really ahead of its time stuff on here. Some of the tracks feel like they could have been made yesterday, and what's really impressive is not only just the full-on instrumental stuff, but I really like the hip-hop infused production stuff with the jazz stuff as well. It doesn't feel that far removed from what Kiefer's doing now, but just with more of a Madlib touch to it. This stuff seems to have a lot more original tracks on here, but this one, Stevie, is his often talked about but I'd never had heard Stevie Wonder cover album, and this is a record that I know is probably going to be getting a lot of spins. Like, once again, much like the other yesterday's new quintet record, there's just a sound to this stuff that's absolutely undeniable. Technically flashy stuff in the world, but I love Madlib's sense of melody, and he really plays to that quality of Stevie Wonder's music and does a really perfect job. So if you haven't heard this, highly recommend you give this one a listen as well as this, because both of these records are completely unique to Madlib's expansive catalog, but are still worth celebrating just as much as his masterful hip-hop releases. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thanks as always for watching. If you've listened to any of the records that I've talked about in this video, please let me know what you thought about them down in the comments. If you want to hear any of the records that I talked about on this channel, please head over to my WordPress or Steemit blogs, because that's where I'll be posting music links for you to listen to. And as always, please head over to my Mixcloud, where you can check out Raw Select Radio. There, you can hear me play records like I talk about in these videos, or hear me play some records that I don't get a chance to talk about on this channel. Links to everything, as always, down in the description. But that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you in part 3. So until then, peace out!